Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks, our second little sojourn today in this beautiful city. I'm going to get to that in a second. My name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker, your virtual travel guide today. And of course, travel guide is a little overstating the fact. We're just going to be a co-discoverer, a co-explorer today. I actually know a little bit about this, know my way around a little bit because I used to live near here. But which is, of course, Washington, D.C., the U.S. Capitol. We are starting at 12th and Constitution, which I need to remember because I parked over here and I've already had to move the car once. Parking's a bit of a nightmare down here, as you might expect. But I need to remember that. And I also wanted to look and see what that giant building was. I remember it was like Commerce or something. I don't know what that giant building is. I forget. Anyway, that is the Museum of American History. And off to our left is the Museum of Natural History. And we're going to curl around on the National Mall to see the front of that because it's pretty cool. I think my son is in there right now poking around. He's in one of these museums off on his own, having a little personal adventure, which is kind of fun. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. I'm trying to remember to thank you guys because it really is, in addition to a financial support, a moral support and encouragement to know that you guys value these walks, that they are that beneficial to you, and it just really motivates me and keeps me psyched to be doing these, so thank you. If the rest of you guys either haven't subscribed yet to the channel, to the YouTube channel, please do so. That's another way to help because it tells YouTube that this is a channel worth watching, it's interesting, you're going to come back and see it. Also tell your friends if you haven't done that. This is looks like an old, kind of an osprey nest, a recreation of that. We see these a lot out in Montana. It is a breezy day today, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's 15 or 17 degrees Celsius, sorry. So I get tangled up in my wire. It's a really cool building. It's a massive building, as so many of these buildings here in DC are. It really is. I'd forgotten how big the city is, not in a population, not in a vertical sense, but in just a heft, a little bit like St. Petersburg, Russia in that regard. It's got a certain mass to it that's really impressive, really, I like it. The architecture is sort of neoclassical faux Greek for the most part, although the newer buildings are very much a modern design, which is mostly really well done, I think. You kind of wonder, will I think that in 20 years, 50 years, 60 years? Probably won't be around 60 years, but like this dome and the sort of scale look it has on the top. This is a fun one for kids. Let me go back real quick. If you guys, I really love getting your comments. Those are a lot of fun for me to interact with you guys, hear your thoughts, hear your memories, hear your stories, your trials, and your triumphs. So please comment below your additions and corrections, even, especially if they're kindly put, are always appreciated. This is a fun museum for families and kids and adults too, of course. The plan today is to, somebody doesn't want to wear their mask. The plan today is to wind my way around. In an earlier walk, I went up to the Capitol building, around and back down to about a block or so down. And now we're going to kind of do something similar down to the Washington Monument. Ooh, this lady is trucking. I'm really impressed by all the joggers out here getting their exercise, and that lady is setting a heck of a pace. This is the Smithsonian Castle, sometimes referred to. The Smithsonian Institution, of course, runs a lot of these museums, almost all of which are free of charge to enter. You do have to go through security, so be aware of that, as we got some dueling kids here having a great time. You got some places to get refreshments, and there are, in a lot of these museums, cafeterias, but you have to go through security, so you have to wear your mask, and you cannot bring knives, like even little pen knives or screwdrivers or tools like that. So just be aware, you'd hate to have to walk all the way back to your car just to put something like that back. And to the right, well, we'll get a nice view of the Capitol here. That little building draped and stuff is a Hirshhorn Museum. Let's go over there. Why not? We're not going to go all the way back up to the Capitol, but we are going to go up here and then over to the carousel, and we'll walk on that side and see the castle and the office buildings. We got time here. It is a sultry day. It's humid, quite breezy at times when you get out of the lee of these buildings, but really pleasant. It's, 62 degrees Fahrenheit is a very nice temperature. It's a Saturday in December, and I think I forgot to tell you the time. It's about 12:15. So we got down here. The museum's open at 10. They're not, I don't know if they're open every day right now or not. But we came down, and I wanted my oldest to have a chance to go and poke around on his own. I won't be going into the museums. This will be an outside walk. I've done 1 or 2 museum walks. They didn't get a lot of interest, I think. But so and it's a permissions thing. It gets weird, so it's easier not to. A lot of ways to see DC. There's tours, of course. There's bus tours. There's walking tours. There's even Segway tours. There's a hop-on, hop-off bus, I believe. Although I think it looks different than you would see in Europe. Off to just to the right of that crane, just to the left of the crane, a little yellow building above tree line, is the National Museum of Native American History. This is probably not the right name, but it's basically what it is. Then you got the Air and Space Museum, that big blocky gray thing, and this is the Hirshhorn Museum, all draped up in these beautiful, I don't know, colors. I mean, it's an art, but it's a technical term, like a tarp or something, but bigger. And then you get into the Smithsonian Castle, and then you've got, as ways to get around, you've got all the rental scooters that you can use your phone to unlock and ride around for money. Probably be doing that later. And yeah, and then you got the good old feet. They do have Lyft and Uber here, and of course there's a metro system underneath, which is pretty handy and useful, pretty easy to use. Oh, I'm gonna go over here. This is kind of a cool art thing on the entrance. I'm not sure what this museum is now, like what this building is. It's a pretty cool dragon on this carousel. I usually do a normal caveat, is to say, not only do I not really know where I'm going at any given time or all the details, but I'm easily distracted. I love having this be an exploration and a discovery, and noticing little details and nooks and crannies that aren't necessarily on the tourist map. And so it's fun for me to take a moment and point those out, but I may notice them at the last minute and then sort of switch gears. Wow, this is kind of cool. I thought it was maybe Post-its, but I think it's mirrors. I love the colors. It's beautiful. It's all neon, but translucent too. Very cool. Let's go see it real close. There are so many different museums, and kind of see her through those things. Museums and government buildings and all sorts of things like that here in DC that, as I said in my earlier video, I can't really, there's too much to really cover in any kind of detail here. So I encourage you to come to DC and visit and take a tour and get a book and learn all that stuff. It is, you could easily fill a week. And that's just down here on the mall. And you know, you get over to the zoo, and you get, which is an excellent zoo, and you get to some of the entertainment stuff, and then over into Northern Virginia. Just so much going on, and so much to do. So I encourage you to do so. Such a strange this building, the color of the stone and the style of the building is it makes it stick out from the rest of the buildings in the area. Really kind of interesting. I kind of wonder what the design choice was with that. Maybe it was a time of decision based on sort of the style of the times. You know, who knows what it was, how it was received early on. Cool building though. Fascinating. And there again is the Natural History Museum. I'm kind of curious now that I think about it, what the origin of the name is of the Smithsonian. If you know that, I'll try to look it up, but if you know that, please put it in the comment section. I'd love to know. Now, the museums, the mall, this National Mall, which is a park that stretches from the Lincoln Memorial down by the Potomac up to the Capitol building, is lined with museums as well as governmental buildings. And so I'll try to call them out as I see them. Also memorials. So we have the Washington Monument up here, the Lincoln Memorial, then there's like the Jefferson Memorial off to the left, there's the Vietnam Memorial down there, the World War II Memorial, the Korean War Memorial. I think I said the Martin Luther King Memorial, the FDR Memorial. Lots of stuff down further. And you've got some mounted police coming up. And to be fair, I'll call out what I know and what I can find on Google Maps, but I don't always know the names of these buildings. So that's the National Museum of Asian Art over there. And then that building straight ahead has state flags all around it, is the National Museum of American History. So anyway, it's kind of fun. I was kind of hoping the mounted police would come by us. This is the Smithsonian Station Metro, or National Mall Metro Station over here. Pops you up right here. There's a couple others around down here that are give you easy access from the suburbs if you don't want to fight parking battles in here. Highly encourage you to do that. Somebody's getting feisty over there in traffic. One of the things I like about this mall is that it's used. It's not just a place to walk around, but you got people playing rugby up here. I know they used to have kickball games down here somewhere. They'll have festivals down here. And it's used as a park. And I think that's great because not only is DC a center of government and a center of museums and culture, it's a place where people live. It's a community. And I think it's easy to forget that as we come as tourists and visitors to, I got a clicking sound, to visit and see and enjoy. I want to see these horses because they're pretty big. One of them looks like a draft horse, but I think they are going to keep going around. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to see them. This building over here, see if I can look that up. That is, well, there's that Memorial Arch. I think it's the Department of Energy. Here they are. Hi there. How you doing? Good, how are you? Can't complain. All right. I love this sort of gravel walkway too. It's such a nice, somehow it's a little bit better than paved. It's better than paved, it's better than the turf. It's got firm but soft, you know? Seems like an odd thing to appreciate, but I do. Got, hopefully that ice cream truck sound won't set off the Google copyright issues. Okay, this brick building off to the left through the trees there is the National Holocaust Memorial. I've yet to go in. We were going to go last time. We thought maybe it might be a little heavy for our kids. They were quite a bit younger. But I do want to go visit that and see it. It's, of course, a horrific episode of history. This is, of course, the Washington Monument, and you can see some tall buildings in the background, and those are in Arlington, Virginia, across the Potomac River. I remember seeing there's a plane coming in, which reminds me a little bit of there was an airplane crash in the Potomac in like January or February. Ice, everything, and it wasn't one of those things where everybody dies, but there were all kinds of heroism that went into saving people in the icy river, and of course a lot of people did die. But really just a dramatic memory of watching that on TV, and just a very dramatic thing. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. So I want to see. Oh yeah, okay. I'm going to go up here to, I think it's Jefferson. Is that right? I don't see a street sign. I've lost track where I am. 14th and unknown. I think it's Jefferson though. So this, I remember as a kid riding up to the top of this and being disappointed that they had closed down the stairways. You couldn't climb the stairs anymore because people had taken souvenir, like chipping stuff out as souvenirs and stuff. I'm not even sure you can go up to it anymore, but it's really cramped up there in these tiny little windows. But it was fun. It's on this kind of mound, and
I'm not hungry.
over here, that metallic building is the, let me get the name right, it's the National Museum of African American History. History and Culture. Sorry, I knew I wasn't quite getting that right. So the plan is to go up here. We'll go around the monument, and then we'll see the White House off to the right. Go up to as far as we can on that. It's pretty limited right now. Has been for years, I guess. And we will make our way back somehow and see what we can see. It is cool to see all these people coming to see DC and sort of the presentation of our country to the world and to our own citizens. I don't know, I don't want to overstate it, but it's pretty cool. To me, anyway. Oh, you know what? I said I get distracted easily. So... I was thinking about maybe going over the Jefferson Memorial, which is off this direction, but I think that's too far away. And there. It's all right. Kind of hate going through people's photos, but at the same time, you kind of have to make your way through. It'd be a 30-minute round trip, and I don't really want to do that. It's a nice little domed, smaller monument over by the river. Now here we've got a bunch of cherry trees, some of which have actual blossoms on them, which I hope is not an ominous sign, because it's December and that wouldn't be good. I'm trying to maintain the best audio signal here without too much clothing sound. See the flags. I'm not sure why the flags. Oh, it's probably Bob Dole. The flags are all at half mast. Bob Dole, a long-serving senator, politician, presidential candidate, war veteran, passed away recently at the age of 98. They also have a big, of course, as you might expect, giant celebration here for the 4th of July with a big fireworks display. And at least in years past, I don't know what it's like the last few years, but there are, hundreds of thousands of people down here. Maybe that's overstating it, but a lot of people came down one year. I was like, wow, this guy's voice is really carrying, but he's got a little speaker with him. He's a guide or something, which is a
very cool, very refreshing.
Which is a great way to see the city, to take a guided tour. We do that almost every city we go to, any sizable city. There'll usually be a way to either get a paid one, or a lot of times they'll have a free one, which have a lot of people in them, and then you tip at the end. And you know, we found those just in and of themselves are pretty much worth the money. You can see the two different tones maybe of the stone color. It's because it was started and then they did like a pause for a few decades or something like that, and then they started up again, and they ended up using different stones, so different color. Kind of wonder if that was a bureaucratic slip up or a choice, either a compromise of that sort of thing. If we look left, we can see the Lincoln Memorial. I want to show you something else, just because I think this is kind of neat. You can do the view from the top of the memorial, from the Washington Memorial. If you do like Time Looper, or we'll give you the QR code. Pause and shoot. Anyway, that's kind of cool. This is right. So there's the Lincoln Memorial way down there, you can see, and then there's the reflecting pool, and then on this side is the World War II Memorial. So all the people who died in World War II. I'm going to take just a second to tie my shoe. All right, we're going to head down to the White House now. And I can't quite... fix that. That's the ellipse, and then it's called Federal Triangle, but this massive building to the left of the African American History and Culture Museum is like the Ronald Reagan and International Trade Building and the Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Department of Commerce. I don't really want to go all the way. Yeah, let's go up to the monument here. Why not? But you can see just, I mean, that's like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'd say 7, anywhere from 7 to 9 stories tall. And it's just this massive brick of a building, but also quite beautiful. You know, it's ornately done. A lot of effort and thought went into it. It's pretty. I can pretty much guarantee you that if I could hold this camera and ride a scooter at the same time, I'd be doing it. Those things are kind of fun. And sorry for any wind noise that's coming through. It is fairly breezy. It's not Montana breezy, but it's, you know, you can see those flags whipping around. Zip up a little bit more and try and steady things. Top of the hill wasn't the best idea. Somebody's got an art project here. Filming somebody scrubbing with bread or something. What's going on there? Kind of, oh, it is windy. Whew. Okay, you can see the Capitol down there, maybe, in the distance. And then the Lincoln Memorial in the distance. And you can just barely make out the White House down there. We're going to make our way down that way. So it is a breezy. It's impressive how much wind. I think we're maybe 20 feet up, and how much different it is, how much shelter these buildings and trees give. Pigeons benefiting from that bread. It was like an internet thing for a while, wasn't it? Get that bread. That's what the cool kids told me. White tree down there, I think is a sycamore. Could be wrong, but really sticks out from the others. All right, look at some more rugby. Oh, they're playing, we saw rugby earlier. These folks are playing frisbee golf. Or not frisbee golf, ultimate frisbee, sorry. I was a little bit foolish in that I didn't check my time before I stopped that to tie my shoe. And I think we're at about 36 minutes. Somewhere in there. I don't want to short you guys, but also don't want to take you for an hour and a half stroll. So we'll see how far up we can go as pedestrians on and around the ellipse and over to Pennsylvania Avenue. I mentioned in the earlier walk where we went up to the Capitol building, there's got to be a tough balance to strike, or a tricky balance to strike between security and access. I mean, it's a democracy and people deserve to have access to their government and their government officials, but there's also that issue of security, especially in recent years. You know, where things have gotten so nasty. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do. Certainly, cars are prohibited from up there. So. I don't see any signs, but I do see people, so hopefully it's going to be okay. Ooh, caught the light and everything. From a security perspective, it must be strange to have people so freely filming and taking pictures and that sort of thing. There must be a bit of a tension there as well. You can see these awesome trees all along as a flight goes over all along this. I think this is Constitution. Then we're going to come over here to what's called the Ellipse. And I think we're going to make our way around the left side. So as we look left here, there's a building right about there. That's the Organization of American States. Then this way is Constitution Hall. And then beyond that is the American Red Cross headquarters. I might get a little bit better view of that here in a second. Try and remember what this office building is. Oh yeah, the Eisenhower Executive Building is off to the left of the White House. Looks like they have a little Christmas display too that we can go see. Hopefully. That's the Constitution Hall right there. I don't know what purpose that serves. Pretty cool building though. the Red Cross. And I think I can get up here and walk along Pennsylvania Avenue. If I've got my geography right. Looks like there's people parking up there. Nope, it's E Street, Pennsylvania Avenue. Kind of runs into it. It's another block up, a half block. But I love this old office building. This really pretty cool architecturally, I mean. Oh, what is this place? The Corcoran School of Arts. There's a Corcoran Gallery too. I'm not sure if that's it or if it's further over. So 17th Street going left to right. And we're gonna go along here. You can see a lot of the heavy security and
every president been married?
you know, they don't mess around here, from what I understand. It's a really pretty building. And I'm not sure what the statue is, maybe Justice, but something winged and gilded. I wonder if these are like Christmas trees from all 50 states or something. Although I think you'd have a hard time getting trees from a couple places. Interesting, you're not allowed to walk along the parking lot there. See some Christmas stuff, and this is all closed off. Can't remember if I told you that this one or the last one. We were here a few years ago when the president was either coming back or leaving on the helicopter, Marine one. But they shut everything down, blocked everything off all the way down to Constitution. Police everywhere, of course, and just a really heavy presence, secure presence. Here's the White House, dressed up for Christmas, and all sorts of plants, I mean trees and bushes and stuff that I think it's kind of like an arboretum kind of thing. What am I looking for? But really pretty cool. Pretty cool to be able to get this close to it. You know, the amount of power there and the history of it. It's really impressive. This is the 0 milestone of DC. I should bring my son over here. The starting point of the first transcontinental motor convoy. That's kind of cool. It's Yeah, so this is all the different trees, or at least trees representing the various states. It looks like they are decorated with things that kids have sent in. Excuse me. Still, all right, we're going to move on. They used to be back before the days of modern terrorism and that sort of thing. They would open up the White House and citizens could go in and, I think it wasn't Jackson, somebody had a big wheel of cheese that would, you meet the president and have some cheese. Pardon me. I don't know why I think that's funny. Oh. Anyway, there's a little pedicab.
You need a White House Christmas ornament?
Oh, I kind of want to go. I'm going to turn around, sorry. I do that on this channel sometimes. Kind of backtrack and cover some new ground because I want to come out here to Pennsylvania Avenue. Got a big information booth. I wonder if there's bathrooms down there. It looks like maybe there are. So the Secret Service is actually a department of the Treasury, or agency in the Treasury that protects the president and other officials. There's the Capitol Police, there's the Park Police, and then the DC Police. This huge mixture of various police forces that must be a real challenge to coordinate and maintain over time. See. Hi there. This, I think, is Pennsylvania Avenue. No, this is East Street. Pennsylvania Avenue must be on the other side. We're not going to go to the other side. Sorry about the mix-up and the confusion. And like I said, I don't always know what's going on. Cool. Folks on bikes. So this is 15th and E. I guess Pennsylvania is up somewhere. I don't know. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm pretty sure it's got to be around here somewhere. All right, so we're going to head back to Constitution and the mall area. This is the Ronald Reagan building. I mentioned that earlier. Look how giant it is. And honestly, if you look at the windows, it could use a little touch up.
More body weight.
At least on the higher floors. I'm hearing somebody, oh, they're doing some tree service. But must be quite the feat to, or challenge to maintain these grounds. Nice to see they've set aside some bike lanes down here. If any city is going to be bikeable, I would think DC would be, just the way it's laid out, and because it's been constrained by, well, I don't know if that's true, but you know, it's got a set border, and so governmentally, in terms of local government, you know, there's people stay within that, I would think, for various reasons. But it's also, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up again. It's fun for me to see the various people that are here visiting from within the United States as well as from around the world. It's pretty fascinating. It's a Rustin limousine company again. They were hauling fancy folks around earlier. It's empty now. Not sure what these other older buildings are, pump houses or see these kind of, what you would call them, they're food trucks, but not like fancy food trucks. We're at Constitution and 15th. Across this way. Wow, it is so much busier now, just a little 2.5 hours after we got here. It was really quiet at 10 a.m. It's a hard pass. It's a really pretty building. This is the African History and Culture Museum again, or American Museum of African History and Culture is the real name of it, the accurate name. I'm gonna go up there. Hate to walk over the grass, but not enough to not do it. I like that metallic screening on the outside. It's really cool. I kind of wonder if there's a greater iconography to those panels or not. This is, I think you have to have it's timed entrance. So you have to make a reservation to get in. I think it's still free, but they don't want massive crowds in there. I guess it's not quite set up for that. I think you have to do that at the zoo as well. Could be wrong about that. So make sure you check that out before you come to DC and start planning your trip, because that could cause a bit of a hiccup if you get here expecting to get in and the doors are not open to you. And I would think that would be a good one to see. All right, guys, we are at 14th and Constitution. I think this is gonna be it for the day. I think that's not the day, but for this walk. That's the American History Museum there. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this walk. Check out the other DC walks, the other walks from this massive road trip we've been on. It's been a lot of fun, and we've got a few more in us. So keep on stepping.